Hello everyone, this is the video where I show you how to query your MySQL database hosted in AWS RDS from a Lambda function. Keep in mind the steps that I'm going to show you will also work for those of you trying to query from your local machine, but it also includes some extra steps to allow access from a Lambda function. This video is also a continuation of a previous video where I show you how to create and access an RDS MySQL database from your desktop. In that video, there's some configuration steps that you'll need to perform in order for some of the steps in this video to work. So make sure you go and check that one out first. So starting out from where we left off in my previous video, I have my database set up here, and that database is called AWS Simplified, and we have an endpoint here that's associated with it. And where we left off was we were in the MySQL workbench where I was performing some queries on our database just to populate it with some data. So let's quickly recap on what we already did. So we created a database called transactions prod. We're using that database. We created a table called transactions. And in that table, there's a transaction ID, which is an integer, an amount, which is a decimal, and a transaction type, which is an enum. We also described the table. Then we inserted some data inside of it. So 2 records here. And then we just selected that data back. So let's just run over this really quick and just query that so we can see the description of the table. So we have these 3 fields here, and let's just do a quick select to show what is inside it. So there's those 2 rows here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is install some needed dependencies. So the dependency that we need for this exercise is one called Pymysql, which is a library that allows us to query MySQL databases. So we're going to be using pip, which is the Python install tool. So if you don't have that set up already, you're going to need it for this exercise. And the commands I'm going to show you are going to work on both Mac, Linux, and Windows. So it doesn't matter which platform you are on. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to a terminal. I'm using PowerShell here. Now make sure you have a temporary directory created for this exercise. And if we just take a look in this path here, we just have one file called handler.py. That's what we're going to be using to write our code in. So now what we need to do is install Pymysql using pip, but to this directory. If you just do pip install Pymysql, it's not going to install to this directory. And since we're using a Lambda with an external dependency, we need to bring that dependency in to our Lambda function through a zip file. So we need to actually install this locally in order for this to work. So instead of using pip install Pymysql, we're going to use a slightly different command, which is pip install -t for target $pwd, which stands for print working directory. And then we're going to say Pymysql. So this should, okay, that was quick. So if we just do ls now, we can see now we have 2 folders here, Pymysql and another metadata folder here as well. So I'm just going to bring up Sublime Text now, which is where we'll write our code. Okay, so this is the inside of that handler.py file, and I just have some stuff here already pre-prepared. So I'm importing Pymysql, and I have some notes for you here for afterwards. So the command that you want to run is here, and this stuff is going to be available on Pastebin in the description section below once this video is posted. And then I'm just giving you some instructions for the next steps. I'm going to show you how to do this stuff in this video, so don't worry about it now. And this is the Lambda function permission that you're going to need in one of the later steps. Okay, so let's get started. So we have a handler function. We're just calling it back here for testing purposes. So the first thing that we want to do is actually go up here, and we want to define our configuration values, right? So the first one we need is the database endpoint, which is what we are connecting to. So I copied mine from the previous step. So that's mine. So if this is your first time doing this, go into the console, and it's this guy right over here, endpoint. So you need to grab that. Going back to Sublime. And we also need to define our username. And mine was admin. And the password, AWS Simplified. Don't try to connect to this database as well, because I'm going to be deleting it afterwards. And the database name is going to be what we said before, transactions_prod, right? So that's done, and we need to establish the connection now. So we're going to say connection, and we're going to be using pymysql.connect. Need to pass in a bunch of things. The first one is the endpoint, which we just established above. We need to specify the user, and the user is the username. We also need to specify the password for the database. So password, and that's my password variable. And then we also need to specify the database name, which is transaction_prod, and that's in the database name variable. Okay, so that's all we need to do to actually establish the connection. So one word of the wise here, make sure that you're writing this code outside of the handler function, because for each container that's spun up on your Lambda, this connection is going to be reused. But if you put it inside the handler function, a new one is going to be established every time that your Lambda function is run. So keep in mind, establishing a connection every time is a little bit of a stressful process on your database engine. So you want to try and limit that. Ideally, you'd be using some kind of database proxy for this, but in this example, I'll just show you how to connect to it and run some basic queries. Okay, so now inside of our handler, we can actually start writing our code to actually interact with the database. So we need to get a reference to the cursor objects. We're going to say connection.cursor. And then we're just going to say cursor.executes. And we just want to select star from our database name, or table name was transactions. And now we want to get a hold of all the rows from that query. So we're going to say cursor.fetchAll. And then we get a array here in this rows object. So we want to say for row in rows. And then we're just going to print out the results. Remember, there were 3 fields that I had in my database: the transaction ID, the amount, and the type. So let's just do a fancy print statement here. So that's the first item, the second item, and the third item. And then we're going to say format row 0. So in the row object itself, there are also 3 items that correspond to each of the fields in the database. So row 0 being the transaction ID, row 1 being the amount, and row 2 being the type. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have to do to connect to our database and query it. So if we just save this file now, go back to where our function is, and if we just run python handler.py, we should see that we get 2 results back. There we go. Those are the 2 things from our database. So if you're just writing a basic REST API, or this is just an experiment, this is how you connect and write code to a MySQL instance from your local. So we're going to go through the extra steps now on how to actually upload this code into Lambda so you can create maybe a REST API to interact with your database that way. So let's go through those steps now. So the first thing we need to do is just change some names around. So the Lambda handler function by default, I'm going to call mine Lambda_handler. It needs to input 2 arguments. One is the event and one is the context. I'm also going to delete this as well because it's not going to be needed in our Lambda function. So we have Lambda handler and then takes 2 arguments and then the same stuff here, right? So now what we need to do is we need to go and zip this file and the containing files in the folder. So here's my folder where we installed the Pymysql, and this is my handler file. So what we want to do, if you're on Windows, you can just select all these 3 things here, right click, go to, I believe, 7-zip if you have it installed, and then add to RDS query.zip. And that'll create a zip file right here. I'm just going to call mine, rename it to function. Now, if you're doing this from Linux or Mac, I have a command here for you to run. So it's this one here, zip-r pwd function/zip. Regardless of which mechanism you use, the result will be the same. You should have a function.zip file that contains this data. So if we actually expand this out now, we can see it contains a copy of this data. Okay, so now what we want to do is go and create our Lambda function. So let's go and do that now. So we're going to go to Lambda in the console. Going to click on create function. We're doing this from scratch. So let's say RDS query example. And we're going to use Python 3.7. And so we need some special permissions for this. So we want to use, create a new role from AWS policy templates. Let's name this RDS query from Lambda role. And we're going to leave the policy template blank. So let's go ahead and click on create function. Sometimes this can take a minute or so. If it does take too long, I'll come back when it's all done. Okay, here we are after we created the function. So we can see that we successfully created it. And we're going to leave everything default here. We're not going to touch anything yet. We want to go and create the IAM role first. So let's go to permissions and we can see the role that we just created. Let's click on that guy. It's going to bring up the IAM section and we want to attach a policy. So we click on attach policies. And we're going to search in the search box here for a policy called AWS Lambda VPC Access Execution Role. So this is the guy that we want. If we look inside it, we see it contains some EC2 network interface permissions. So we want to click on the checkbox there, click on attach policy, and now we are done with the IAM stuff. So we can close that out. So now the next step is to actually upload our code, that function.zip that we created previously. So if we go down over here to function code, instead of using edit code inline, which you can do for some pretty basic Lambda functions, we want to select upload a zip file. Keep in mind this has a 10 megabyte limit, so if it's larger than that, you need to do it in S3, upload to S3, and then point the Lambda function to the S3 file. But since our dependency is quite small, we're not going to worry about that. So the first thing I want to do is go and change this around. So my function, its file name was handler.py. Our function name is lambda_handler. So it's file name dot function name for the format here. So make sure you modify that if you're using different file names and function names than I am in this example. Now I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to click the function.zip file. And so that uploaded pretty much instantly. So let's click on save now. And okay, so everything is saved. So now we can see in the inline editor here that we have the file that I uploaded. We have the 2 dependencies with all the stuff that's in there. So that's great. We should be pretty much ready to go to test this out. So let's go to the top right and click on test. Just create a dummy test event. We're not reading off the input arguments here, so this doesn't matter. Click on create. And hopefully if everything worked, if I click test here, we should see the results and it was successful. And if we look down here, here are the results of me printing the data in the database. So here's my first row and my second row. If you like this video, I have many more AWS videos on my channel, so be sure to check those out. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on next week's. Thanks so much, folks, and I'll see you next time.